Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 9th of February, now it's 1 o'clock, middle of the day by Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my channel in which I share latest updates on the news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. There is plenty of very significant developments and news that I'd like to share with you this moment, but before I start, let me ask you, if I may, to hit that like button if you find my videos interesting. Leave some commentary about any topic you like. And if you can, please share links to my videos or my channel with your friends on Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, or any other platform that you are active on. That will, in theory at least, may greatly increase my chances to reach wide audience, and I will be very grateful for this help. That being said, let's talk about news now, and I will start with Ukraine and special military operation. There is plenty of news, and I will try to, manage and share with you all of them. I will start with this one. RIA Novosti is reporting that during the previous night, Zelensky's Nazi regime did conduct operation to hit deep inside Russian territory. They launched nine drones in direction of Bryansk region, but Russian air defense forces managed to track all those drones, and every single one of them was shut down. So no damage was done on the ground, and no one was injured. And one may say, all good, nothing to worry because all drones were shut down. But I have different take on this story because, as you know, Biden administration did announce a few days ago that they will deliver long-range missiles to Zelensky's regime. And I will strongly recommend, of course, they're not going to listen to me and to nobody really, but I will strongly recommend to delay those deliveries because, as you can see, Zelensky's regime even now are trying to hit deep inside Russia. And once they receive long-range weapons, they will of course use them to hit Russian cities, at least on the borderline. And those weapons that Biden administration did promise, they have a range up to 150 kilometers. Some say that they may hit targets even on longer ranges. And if you remember, on 2nd of February, Russian president, when he was in Volgograd, he did make statement and said that Russian answer or on constant escalation from the West will be not just with tanks and armored vehicles. So he was clear: if you continue, we will respond, and you will definitely don't like it. So why Western elites risking so much? Because everything that has beginning has end too. Even Russian patience. Even Russian patience. And I strongly believe that we are getting closer and closer to a point when Moscow will see no other option other than use of extreme force. And we don't need that. No one needs that. So I do understand that Biden administration did promise those long-range missiles to Zelensky's Nazi regime, but at least they can delay delivery of those weapons until this conflict will be resolved. And it will don't take long. I do believe that in 6 to 8 months' time, this conflict will end. I may be wrong, but that's my take on it. So let's continue now, and let me show you map for a minute. Probably you want to know about some big developments on the front line. And as you can see, even though this is pro-Ukrainian map, you can see here that Russian side was very active in previous 24 hours. And I did read this morning chronicle of Russian operations during the previous night, for example. And I read that Russian side did attack positions of Ukrainian armed forces in bordering settlements of Ukraine near in the Kharkov region, in the Sumy region, in direction of And the Russian side was very active also in direction of Donetsk and Uglidar, which is here. And just a few minutes ago, let me show you on Telegram. Just a few minutes ago, I did share on my Telegram channel this information that fighters of Wagner PMC managed to cut two main routes leading to Artyomovsk, Bakhmut. Southwest of Ivanovskaya. On the map, Ivanovskaya is here. So as you can see, Bakhmut is becoming, if Russian side managed to cut this way, situation of armed forces of Ukraine that are stationed in Bakhmut becoming just catastrophic. And also units of Wagner PMC managed to cut roadways from northern side, uh, from the northwest of Paraskovievka and Krasnaya Gora. And on this little map, you can see Paraskovievka here. But let me show you on the big map. Let me show you on the big map. Bakhmut is somewhere here. That's Bakhmut. And that's Paraskovievka, and that's Krasnaya Gora. And as you can see, these two settlements are in operational encirclement, and best decision that Ukrainian forces in the settlements can make now is to flee if they can, or surrender. Otherwise, they're gonna end up in big trouble. When it comes to Bakhmut itself, if this information is correct, then as I already said, the situation for Bakhmut garrison is just catastrophic now, and I believe in few days' time, because I don't see a way that Zelensky will order them to leave Bakhmut. I think many Ukrainian units will decide to surrender to Russian side, because there is no reason for them to die for nothing really. So that's quite significant development. I also read that Russian side was very active in direction of Uglidar, in direction of Seversk, but when it comes to detailed information, because my program is basically about news, not just about news from conflict zone, I will recommend the Military Summary channel, which does great work to give us detailed information about situation on in the zone of special military operations. So if you want to learn more, I highly recommend to visit Military Summary channel. Let me continue now. Let me continue. And here, TASS News Agency is reporting based on Bloomberg's article that Germany's government now are nervous because they are thinking that they've been fooled basically, because after they did promise to Ukraine that they will deliver 178, if I'm not mistaken, Leopard 1 tanks and 14 Leopard 2 A6 tanks, they are now seeing reaction of other European states, and the government of Germany are not happy, because it's becoming more and more obvious that other NATO members, other European NATO members, Poland will be exception, because Polish elites are extremely Russophobic, and they are just sick animals, man. But other European states, they are not rushing to send all the main battle tanks to Ukraine. And it's becoming kind of joke when some Portugal says that they will send 2 or 4 tanks, and Spain says they will send like 6 tanks or 8 tanks. So when German government sees this development, of course they are not happy. They feel like they've been fooled. and they feel correctly they've been fooled. They've been provoked to destroy relationship with Russia, allowing re-export of German-made battle tanks and making decisions to send their own tanks to Ukraine to fight against Russia. So basically, they are fools, man. German elites, German government, they are just fools. And this information just confirms this. You know. Let's continue. As you know, Zelensky did visit United Kingdom yesterday. Today he will have a meeting with the French president and the German chancellor in France. But yesterday he was in UK, and this stupid imbecile that they have as a prime minister in Britain, the Sunak or whatever he is, he said that he promised basically Zelensky to deliver jet fighters. He said many crazy things, man. I even share on my Telegram channel. And by the way, if you want to see more and more updates on a daily basis, you can subscribe to my Telegram channel. You will see a link in description box. And I did share yesterday little episode of Sunak's statement. Let's listen.
As Prime Minister, we decided to change our strategy to accelerate and intensify the amount of support that we give Ukraine so that we can bring about more decisive victory in a sooner period of time. And that's why I made the decision to provide tanks. And with regard to aircraft, as I said, we've already said nothing is off the table. And the first step on that has to be to have people who can fly what are very sophisticated pieces of kit. I mean, from start, if you take someone who's brand new.
So as you can see, this imbecile is threatening Russia because he's saying that, you know, there will be some victory over the Russia, and that's a threat, basically. And see, he's saying that jet planes are not off the table. And yet again, I start with the same topic that Western elites should consider possible consequences of their decisions, because long-range weapons and modern offensive weapons will provoke Moscow to act in extreme ways, and no one gonna like it. Not in Ukraine, not in the West. So let me continue. So this Zelensky was promised by British Prime Minister, which is clearly, I mean, fool, idiot, complete idiot. He was promised to, you know, with that Britain will provide him with jets, and we have here reaction of one of the British officials who said that, yet again, I'm gonna show you on that's the article. You can read it for yourself. That's the reaction, man. We have not got any F jets to give, and that's simple true. They are promising too much to Zelensky's Nazi regime, but this Sunak he's not military expert. He knows nothing about jets, you know, and he talks some crazy stuff, endangering British society, doing so, you know. And even though British officials, as you can see on that comment, have some doubts that UK will provide Zelensky with any jet fighters. I have to go to my Telegram channel again. So we have an article here, fragment from article that published. Financial Times did publish, and we have here information that London may consider to give to Ukraine Typhoon jet fighters. That's these Typhoons. They are Eurofighters. They were built together with a few European countries, which includes United Kingdom, Germany, if I'm not mistaken, and Italy. In the beginning, France was also involved in this project, Eurofighter Typhoon, but then they withdraw from this and they build their own Rafale fighter. So yes, as you can see, Financial Times is writing that UK made promise to deliver to Zelensky's Nazi regime Eurofighters, and we have more information here that those there is 20 Eurofighter Typhoons in inventory of UK Royal Air Force that should be retired in 2024, and the Financial Times, probably based on some insight from UK's military or government, predicts that those 20 planes, may be promised to Ukraine. But even if that's the case, those planes will not be delivered earlier than 2024. So basically, London is now doing exactly what I suggest for Washington to do. They may promise anything to Zelensky's regime, but they have to delay deliveries to avoid strong Russian reaction. Because Russia will definitely react if Zelensky's regime will receive long-range missiles and jet fighters. Tanks, okay, of course, no one is happy in Russia that Western states are delivering their tanks, but that's not that big a deal. But when it comes to missiles and jets, that's a little bit different story. And Moscow may be forced to react in a very, very strong manner. And why should anyone want that? Let's continue. And this is TASS News Agency. And we have a statement here from Starlink, which is cutting off internet for Ukrainian militaries that are using Starlink internet to drive, to operate their drones, basically. And Starlink representatives did stated that Starlink internet is a peaceful project, and they cannot allow anyone to use this system to conduct some offensive military operations. I believe this statement is correct. They did the right decision. They made the right decision to not allow Ukraine to use Starlink internet for their drones, but it's too late, really. And I'm thinking, what happened, how Moscow did influence Elon Musk so that this kind of decision was made. Maybe Moscow did remind Elon Musk that Russia has means to take out satellites of Starlink. Who knows? Who knows, man? But anyway, this decision is a right one. Starlink should never allow Ukrainian military to use their system, especially when it comes to offensive operations. But you know, let's continue, and we have two informations here about one of the main topics that was making headlines and still are making headlines in Russian media. And of course, I'm talking about journalistic investigation from Seymour Hersh, U.S. journalist. Uh, and of course, you know that these journalists did publish investigation according which on terroristic attack on Russian Nord Stream pipelines was involved U.S. Marine Force and Norway. And about this attack was informed not just Biden but also Sullivan, if I remember correctly. So you know we have a statement from Russian from head of Russian Parliament Volodin, who said, commenting this information, that if former U.S. President Truman, known by history as a criminal who used nuclear weapons against civilians, Biden will go down in history as a terrorist. And basically, Vyacheslav Volodin is right. Biden is a terrorist because under his watch, U.S. did conduct terroristic attack on Russian gas pipelines. In my understanding, that attack was an act of war, and if I was Russian president, I will react very differently. But Putin is very soft towards Western elites, and what you gonna do? He is the president, and he's making decisions, and that's why I will never support him and his party and his government. One of the reasons that I will never support them because they are too soft towards Western elites, man. If I was president, that would be a very different story, but I'm not. And we have a statement from Snowden too, who remind society that U.S. not just denying its involvement in this terroristic attack, but U.S. officials were denying that they were spying on U.S. citizens. They were denying this too, until Snowden himself did revealed information, factual information about about this. And now we all know that U.S. secret services not just spy on other governments and citizens of other countries, but they did spy even on U.S. citizens. So you know what kind of elites U.S. has and what they think about basic human rights of even U.S. citizens. You know, so Snowden is on top of the game as always. I mean, I will say he's together with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. I mean, these two guys are heroes of our modern times, definitely. So let's continue. Let's continue, and we have TASS News Agency here, which is reporting that Biden did warn Chinese leader Xi Jinping that there will be some consequences if China will not stop or if China will continue to support Russian special military operation. And to be honest, um, how can I comment this, man? I think Chinese leader don't give a damn about Biden and about his warnings. and Chinese and Russian relationships are now in such a place where if Russian and Chinese leaders act correctly, um, I mean, no one in the world, particularly Western elites, will not gonna do any damage to these two countries. You know, because everyone should understand China is economical might, Russia is nuclear might, and alliance between these two countries are just invincible. And I'm quite sure Chinese leaders just don't don't cares about anything Joe Biden or U.S. elites are saying. You know, all Chinese leader is interesting now, and Chinese leadership, I'm quite sure, to gain some time before U.S. will attack China, to gain some time and prepare better way to defend itself, because it's only a matter of time, and the Western elites will attack China. We all know this, isn't it? And that's why we all should support this idea of multipolar world, when no one side will have uh, even chance to act like this planet is their property, like Western elites are acting now. You know, and multipolar world is a way to go forward, because after all, we don't have to live same way. We don't have to be same in every way possible. We are different, and that's great. Our countries are different, our cultures are different, and that's great. That's great. That's how it's supposed to be, you know. And multipolar world does give us an opportunity to be who we are, you know, and try to, you know, as in ordinary life, you know, we always should try to become better person every day. And same we can say about societies. All societies should try to become better and better. And eventually that's how it will go, because that's how civilization is working, as I understand. You know. So let's continue, and we have some economical news here. Let me check time. 28 minutes. Okay, a few more minutes, and I will finish this video. This is Kommersant news paper, and we have today's update about Russian currency's exchange rate, and I'm not happy about these numbers, man. Dollar uh, now is 73 rubles, and the euro is 78 rubles. And as I was saying in my previous videos, uh, even though I'm not an expert in finances, uh, I do believe that Russian you know, economical bloc of Russian government to fill up Russian budget, they are, um, you know, they are, how should I say, they are conducting operations on the financial market inside Russia to make sure that Russian ruble will lose its strength, so that exchange rate will be as high as possible, and they will fill up Russian budget this way. As you remember, like few months ago, dollar was 40 rubles, almost 40 rubles, 40, 45. Now it's 73, and I did predicted that eventually they will drop value of Russian currency, uh, even up to 100, probably 100 ruble for $1. That's artificial involvement of, in my understanding, yet again, I believe that this is drop of value in Russian currency is because artificial involvement of central bank, central bank of Russia and Russian finance ministry. They want Russian ruble to be weak so that when they exchange foreign currency that they are receiving from export of oil or whatever goods Russia is exporting, you know, when they exchange those foreign currencies, they will have more and more rubles, and this way they will fill up Russian federal budget. But this is wrong way to conduct financial and economical activity. I'm quite sure about it. Russian ruble is supposed to be 30 to 35 to $1. If Russia will demand from everyone to pay in rubles for Russian commodities, basic commodities, gas, oil, coal, forest. Russia is one of biggest exporters of forest, for example, or grain. Let everyone pay in rubles, and Russian ruble will become very strong. But yet again, for some reason, Russian central bank and the Russian finance ministry is acting in a different way, and because of the artificial involvement, Russian ruble becoming weaker and weaker. And now it's 73 ruble for $1. In 2 3 time, if in 2 3 4 months time, we will probably see 80, 90, or maybe even 100 rubles for a ruble exchange rate for $1. Anyway, man, I'm not happy about this news, but what can I do? So we have RIA Novosti here, which is reporting that Russian ambassador in Iran uh, has made statements, share information that economical activities between Russia and Iran is in a great shape right now, and numbers are growing. In 2022, um, exchange economical activity between two countries rise up to 50%, and it was $4.6 billion. This is, I mean, very little amount. I do understand that, but nowadays, nowadays we are talking about, because of all those sanctions from the West and the rest of it. Now we are talking about southern economical route, which will allow Russia from the north and the rest of the world from the south to have a trade. And once this uh, new trade route will be established fully, then I'm quite sure these numbers of trade between Russia and Iran will increase big time, big time, because 4.6 billion is not enough. It's just nothing. But still, it's economical activity between two countries are rising, and I'm all for that. I mean, that's great. Russia should have great relationships with all countries outside of West, outside the Western world, and if any time in the future Western states will have decent elites, then um, then I will be all for establishing great relationships with the Western countries too. But now I just don't see how it's possible because Western elites will don't act like friends. They are acting like enemies, and that's what they are really. They are our enemies. Western elites. I'm of course not talking about societies. Man. We are on one side in my understanding, and Western elites are our enemies to all of us, everywhere. Let's continue, man. And this is Izvestia newspaper, which is talking about economical activity between Russia and India. Here we have a quite interesting article. I did promise to one of the subscribers that I will touch this topic. I could not manage it yesterday, but I'll do it today. So, like with Iran, Russian economical activity with and trade activity with India also is rising in a much greater pace. And we have data here from Reuters. So that's a Western source. So these numbers must be at least conservative, let's say this way. And even Reuters is acknowledging that in 2022, trade between two countries rise on 130%. Just imagine, 130%, up to 17 billion US dollars. Of course, still $17 billion, it's just nothing. But yet again, in 2022, 130% rise in trade between Russia and India. In 2023, we may see even bigger number. Because despite Western demands from Indian government to cut ties, including economical ties with Russia, I'm I want to believe that Indian government will make right decision and they will increase economical activity and trade with Russia. Because in the end, Russia, India, and Soviet Union, I mean, always were very friendly, always. And I'm quite sure many citizens and politicians in India remember 1971 when Soviet Union basically saved India as a state. If some of you may don't have information about it, just check on internet. It's a very interesting story when in 1971 war broke up between India and Pakistan, and almost the entire world was acting against India, including US and Great Britain, France, and just the rest of it. And only Soviet Union stand with India and basically saved Indian statehood. And Indians do remember this. And I don't see how current or any other Indian government will act against Russia. I just don't see it, man. We are friends forever. That's how I see this, you know. So it is what it is, and on this great news, I will finish today's video, which is quite long, again 38 minutes. But I hope you will find this video interesting, and if so, please subscribe to my channel if you are new. Hit that like button if you find my videos interesting. Leave some commentary about any topic and share links to my videos or my channel to your friends on Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, or any other platform. That will be great help. So please consider. This is it for now. Have a nice day and take care.